From the moment the universe came into existence, it has never been still. Every star, every planet, every galaxy, even the tiniest atom is in motion. Nothing rests. The universe is a grand cosmic dance where everything spins, turns, and flows endlessly. But why? Why does everything spin in the universe? Is this motion just a coincidence? Or is it the very heartbeat of existence itself? In the beginning, there was chaos. Not the kind we imagine, but a raw, infinite energy compressed into a single point, smaller than an atom, heavier than all the galaxies combined. Then, in a moment that defies imagination, that point exploded. The Big Bang, space itself stretched. Time began to flow, and matter was born out of pure energy. But from that very first moment, the seeds of motion were planted. When the universe expanded, it didn't expand perfectly. There were tiny irregularities, minuscule fluctuations in density and temperature. And in those imperfections, the first spins were born. These early ripples in the cosmic sea created gravitational eddies, small currents that made matter swirl and twist. Just like tiny whirlpools forming in a river, clouds of gas began to rotate under gravity's pull. These rotating clouds would one day become stars, planets, and galaxies. Spin, therefore, wasn't added later. It was there from the start, written into the fabric of creation itself. As matter clumped together under gravity, angular momentum came into play, one of the most fundamental principles of physics. Once something starts spinning in space, it doesn't stop unless an external force acts on it. And in the near-empty vacuum of space, there's almost nothing to slow it down. So those ancient clouds kept spinning, collapsing under their own gravity, spinning faster and faster as they shrank, just like a figure skater pulling in their arms. From chaos, order emerged. From stillness, motion. From emptiness, spin. Every star you see in the sky was once part of such a spinning cloud. As it formed, most of the material fell toward the center, igniting nuclear fusion and creating light. The rest flattened into a rotating disk around it, the birthplace of planets. Earth, like all planets, was formed out of that swirling disk. That's why our planet still spins today, a faint echo of the original motion from billions of years ago. The same spin that formed the sun continues to guide our days and nights, our tides and seasons. But the story doesn't end there. The sun itself orbits the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way, at a speed of nearly 220 kilometers per second. The galaxy too is spinning, carrying billions of stars with it in a majestic spiral dance. And even the Milky Way isn't alone. It's part of a cluster of galaxies. And that cluster is also moving, rotating, drifting through space toward an even larger cosmic structure. Everything from atoms to galaxies is part of this endless rotation. When you zoom into the microscopic world, the same pattern repeats. Electrons spin around atomic nuclei, molecules vibrate and rotate. Even subatomic particles, like electrons themselves, possess an intrinsic property called spin. It's not spin in the classical sense. They're not literally turning like a ball, but it's a quantum version of angular momentum, showing that motion is woven into the universe at every scale. Why does this matter? Because spin gives structure, stability, and meaning to everything. Without rotation, stars wouldn't form, planets wouldn't orbit, and atoms wouldn't exist as we know them. If the universe had no spin, it would collapse into chaos or freeze into stillness. Motion is not just an outcome of the Big Bang. It's the very nature of reality. It's the rhythm of creation. Think about this. Our entire sense of time is tied to spin. One day passes because Earth spins once on its axis. 1 year passes because Earth spins around the sun. The very concept of time we live by is nothing more than the measure of motion in the heavens. Without spin, there would be no dawn or dusk, no cycles of life, no seasons, no rhythm. Everything we experience, birth, growth, decay, happens in cycles. Life itself spins through repetition, reflection, and renewal. But perhaps the most fascinating thing is that we, too, are a part of this motion. The atoms in your body were forged in spinning stars billions of years ago. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your cells, all created in the fiery cores of stars that once rotated and exploded in magnificent supernovas. You are not separate from the cosmic spin. You are the spin in human form. Science tells us that angular momentum must be conserved. Once motion begins, it cannot vanish. It can only be transferred, shared, or transformed. That's why the Earth still spins, billions of years after its birth. It slows ever so slightly each century because of tidal friction with the moon. But it never stops. The dance continues. Gravity pulls everything inward. Spin resists that collapse. The two forces, gravity and rotation, are like partners in an eternal waltz, balancing one another, shaping galaxies and worlds. And as we observe the universe deeper and deeper, we see that this rotation exists at every scale. Galaxies spin like cosmic pinwheels. Clusters of galaxies swirl like giant storms. The cosmic web itself, the largest structure in the universe, shows patterns of rotation. Stretching billions of light years, the universe doesn't just expand. It turns like a vast spiral of time and energy. So why does everything spin? Because motion is energy, and energy is life. The moment motion stops, existence itself fades. Every spin, every orbit, every rotation. From the electron in your fingertip to the black holes at the center of galaxies, is part of a universal heartbeat that has been pulsing since time began. Even black holes, those mysterious monsters of gravity, are spinning faster than anything we can imagine. Some black holes rotate near the speed of light, twisting space and time itself around them. Their spin drags everything nearby into a whirlpool of energy. Light, matter, even reality itself bends around their motion. It's as if the universe refuses to let stillness win. And maybe that's the answer. The universe spins because motion is its way of existing. Stillness is death. Motion is creation. To stop spinning would mean to stop being. The cosmic ballet continues because it must. It's the law, the physics, the poetry of everything. Now imagine this, somewhere, billions of light years away. Another planet like Earth is spinning, under the light of its own star, while that star spins in its galaxy, while that galaxy turns in an endless ocean of motion, and while you watch the night sky from your small corner of existence, the light that reaches you has crossed spinning galaxies, orbiting stars, and rotating worlds, just to tell you one thing, that you are part of this cosmic motion. You belong to the spin. In the silence of space, everything moves in harmony. The stars hum their rotations in frequencies we cannot hear. The galaxies twist, the planets dance. And even in the darkness between them, particles of dust drift and swirl. It's a silent symphony, and we are the brief notes in its song. If you could freeze the universe for just one moment, everything would lose its meaning. Gravity would collapse, energy would dissipate, and time would cease to exist. The act of spinning keeps everything alive. It's what keeps atoms from falling apart, planets from crashing into stars, and stars from imploding too soon. Spin is balance. Spin is life. Spin is eternity. We often think of motion as chaos, but in truth, motion is order. The more we study the cosmos, the more we realize that spin creates harmony, stability, and beauty. From the spirals of galaxies to the hurricanes on Earth, rotation shapes everything. Even our own heartbeat is a rhythm, a cycle, another kind of spin. So when you look up at the stars tonight, remember, they're not just shining, they're spinning, and so are you. Every breath you take, every thought that passes through your mind, is energy in motion, a tiny echo of the first moment when the universe began to spin? The same law that governs galaxies governs your soul. Keep moving. Keep spinning. Keep creating. Because the moment you stop, the story ends, and the universe never stops telling its story.